Okay, everybody. Jose, you were definitely the early bird today. We had a team meeting at 10:30 and Jose tried to break in. I'm like, Jose, we're not starting for 2 hours. He's like, oh, he really wants to know about investing across borders. So I have a couple of EXP partners here. I guess you guys are not in EXP Con like me, not in EXP Con. Kind of sad about that, but at the same time, having just been through literally hell with COVID and still going through it, I wasn't ready for 5,000 people in a room. So I took, not ready for that. 20 people is more than enough. So anyway, I'm Lauren Cohen. I'm your host today. I am originally from the wonderful city of Toronto, and I now live in South Florida. It's funny, a very dear friend of mine who might join this webinar in about a half an hour stayed here last night. She's from Calgary. She went to the beach this morning and she says, oh, I could get used to this. And I'm like, yeah, I know, that's what I did. I got used to it. And so many Toronto people and Ottawa people and London people, and believe me, it's not just Ontarians, but Ontarians tend to like me. I am one myself, but so many Canadians these days and people from all over the world are really excited about the prospect of moving to Florida for a whole variety of reasons. We're not going to get into the politics of it. And that's what I'm here to help you accomplish. So there are paths to immigrate through real estate investment, as well as other opportunities. And my partner, Mark Hyman, is on the call today, and Mark and I will have a really great option available, which I know some of you have already heard about. And I'll let Mark probably have about 2 minutes, literally 2, Mark, not 20. He's like laughing because he likes to talk, these New Yorkers like to talk, even though he's now on the West Coast, but he likes to talk, and he's also a lawyer by training. So, but he gives great advice and really knows the business model and the business model that we use, and also how to create creative strategies to help people invest in real estate and businesses across borders. So what I'm here to talk about today is mainly how to immigrate through real estate and the 10 steps to do so, but you can replace real estate with investment. And a lot of my clients do. Yes, Susanna, you want to say something? Oh, okay. Okay. If anybody wants to say something, just put up your hand and I'll try to let you have a chance to talk. This is not a lecture. This is interactive. And I actually sometimes use a little bit of the Socratic method. I am a lawyer, went to law school. So they do that. They do that in law school. They say, what's the answer? So Karen, Giddy, be prepared. That's how it operates here. Okay, just smile and go, I don't know if you don't know the answer, but I'm not going to put you guys on the spot. So we have a lot of colleagues and friends here. And really, oh wow, Duncan, do I see the Metro Toronto Police in your background? Duncan McDonald, if you're there.
That's Ottawa.
Ottawa. How many people are here from Ottawa? What is up with Ottawa? Ottawa, you guys are just too cold. You don't want to deal with the beaver tails. You want to come here and deal with the warmth, just like my Calgary friend. So I can't say I blame you a lot, but I knew I recognized at least something about that. It looks like probably similar to the Toronto Police Department. So Ottawa, also Ontario. Anyway, we're going to get started. We're going to go through some slides. But again, this is not supposed to be a lecture. This is supposed to be interactive. And I got some amazing, I don't speak English anymore. I have some amazing news to share with you. And I'm going to share that in just a moment. But before I do, let's talk a little bit about how many of you would love to say, if you're in Canada, for example, what would prompt you to want to move? Sam, you said that you're interested. Do you want to say hi, fellow EXPer?
Yeah, sure.
Hi.
Hello.
Where are you in Toronto?
I'm in Richmond Hill, actually.
Oh, I grew up in Thornhill.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So tell me, you're with EXP, you're a realtor, obviously doing well, like most people in the Toronto market. But you're probably sick of the cold.
Oh yeah, I've been sick of the cold the day I got here, which was in 1980. So yeah, I've always dreamt about moving to the States, specifically LA, because I'm an actor as well.
Oh, neat.
But but I've been to Florida and I love it too. So, and I've been to a lot of, not a lot, but a lot. I've been to Chicago and Boston, and I love them, and New York. So I think I love the States, period. And anywhere there would be fine as long as it's warm.
As long as it's warm. Chicago, not so warm. Chicago's
Yeah,
kind of like
Chicago
Toronto.
wasn't warm.
Just saying, it's not
Yeah.
exactly a warm spot. But
Yeah, it
but
was
LA
windy.
and lots
Yeah.
of places in Arizona and obviously Florida. I mean, you know, today I'm very grateful I could show you outside. I do a lot of posts on my group, and actually, Shama or Shamali, if you could put a link in the chat to join the Facebook group, the Canadians Immigrate and Invest in the US, for all of you guys to join. I've been doing a lot of lives there because now that it's kind of almost winter or connect, you know, I'm like, oh yes, so I'm at the baseball field tonight. My son actually is playing his little league game, and I'm like, yeah, look behind me, there's palm trees. And we just did some videos yesterday for TikTok, and I did them in front of the palm trees, right, Shema, so that everybody could see the beauty that we have to contend with. I will do not miss the snow for 1 minute. And if you guys can't, the link, I'm sure Shamali can figure out how to put the link to the Facebook group in the chat. Also, we have a few interesting new opportunities that I will share with you guys as well. So Sam, what would you rate your level of interest in joining, in really making that move? Like, are you just exploring? Are you serious? Are you ready to bite the bullet? And I'm not asking to put you on the spot, but I'm asking because a lot of Canadians tend to be like, you know, it's interesting, but like, what's next? I mean, I remember when I was a kid and my parents wanted to do it, and I was like, oh, we're going to move to Florida. And it just didn't happen until I was a grown up. So what would you say is your level of interest? Is it just like a pipe dream at the moment, or something you want to see come to fruition soon?
Definitely come to fruition. I'm looking after my mom right now, and you know, it's that's why I'm here. Otherwise, I'd be there already.
Got it.
But yeah, definitely want to get that in the works so that you know, I don't have to wait.
Got it. Well, the beauty of these visas that we're going to talk about today is that they allow you flexibility and freedom, and they don't require you to actually become a resident. So a lot of our clients still live in Canada, have Canada as their domicile, have Canada as their tax country, or wherever, the UK, for example, but are able to come back and forth freely, start their business, develop their credit, get their social security number, and, you know, build their status in the US, so that when they're ready and the time comes that they can actually make the move, they already have the insurance policy in their pocket. So that's the beauty of this visa. Now, it's not something for everybody, but it is something that does give you a lot of options. So how about you? Let's see, Rena, where are you located? I'm putting people on the spot. It's not nice. I warned you though. Rena? No? So Kathleen, I know you're in Florida. Are you with EXP?
I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not.
and so where are you located in Florida?
So I'm in the greater Tampa area.
Okay,
So, you know, in our area, a lot of Canadians are of interest in some of the mobile home parks. And for those who are not familiar, I mean, we have some really gorgeous home parks here, you know, and whether you lease the land underneath or you buy it outright, it's a good option. We have something in Clearwater on top of the world, and they have all kinds of
Wow.
events and things like that. So Clearwater, we've got the new Blue Jays spring training in Dunedin. Their new stadium is up, and I met with the Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. We all had dinner last week for the first time in 2 years. And it was just really nice. So there are just pockets around here. Lakeland is a popular area also. So that's where I am over
okay.
on
Well,
the
I
west side.
actually have some interesting news because we just had a client approved this morning for what's called the change of status E2. Now, does anybody know, other than Mark, what a change of status E2 is? Anybody want to throw up their hand? Okay, so a change of status E2 is kind of an E2 light, I call it. because an E2 is a treaty investor visa that's available for people from Canada and many other countries that invest a substantial amount in a non-marginal business, okay? Those terms are subject to interpretation, but generally speaking, for a Canadian E2, you're given up to 5 years of this visa to go back and forth, run your business, develop your business. With a change of status, you don't actually leave the country. So you come into the country, let's say as a visitor, and you want to stay and develop your business. So you build this business and you apply for a change of status, usually after the 91st day of being here. You can do a premium processing and get an answer in 15 calendar days. Client came in originally, I think in like, I don't know exactly, maybe July, got their visa granted last night. We found out this morning. They were on a request for evidence, meaning basically an appeal. They had submitted for premium processing. Their kids play hockey, and that was part of the driving factor. They bought a business in the Tampa area. Hence, that's why I'm saying this. And they may well be looking for real estate in Tampa now that they have their visa. They were staying at a friend's house. So that's the kind of thing that's happening. Now they have a 2-year visa, not 5. It's a change of status in E2 status. So it's not an actual E2 visa that goes in your passport, but you have all the same rights as an E2 visa. But you don't have to leave the country to get it. And actually, you can't leave the country during that status change. So what most clients do is they'll apply for this change of status so that they don't have to leave, because once you come to the warmth, you don't necessarily want to go back to Ottawa or Toronto or Windsor or Sarnia or wherever, or Montreal, okay, because Montreal is really cold, or Calgary, where my friend is here from. But you can find a way to stay in the country. The downside of this visa is as soon as you leave the country, you lose your status because your status changed again. So what do? You apply for the change of status here internally. You stay in the country, and at the same time, you apply for a regular E2 visa. Now, why would you do that? Can anybody guess? Why would you do both? No? Maria, I bet you can guess because I told you I don't want to put you on the spot, but you want to take a guess of why you do both?
So you can leave.
Right, but also there's a problem right now with the US consulate in Toronto. What's that problem?
It's closed.
It's open and it's closed, but what happens when it's closed? There's a backlog, right? So the queue is super long. Guess how long? If you sent in your papers today, you know when you get an interview? 10 to 11 months. That's next winter. So if somebody's here and they want to stay here and they don't want to go back, they're not going to be waiting 10 or 11 months. They want to get their stuff quick. So they apply for the E2 change of status. They get their visa in their passport or allow the change of status. They get a social security. They're allowed to start building their business, building their credit, accessing all the stuff as if they were here permanently. And then when they get their interview, they leave. And that's when they leave and go to the interview and get the 5-year visa. Okay, so the beauty of that is it's kind of killing all these birds with one stone because it's the same business. You don't have to start a new business, but this way you don't have to leave. You can stay warm. Okay, it's kind of nice. And when the visa interview comes through, that's when you leave. So you will lose your status, but hopefully if you've already gotten the E2 light, so to speak, you're not going to be denied when you apply for the actual E2 visa. Okay, so we'll go through a series of slides, and I need to apologize as I have for the past 3 months because I had COVID at the beginning of August and I am still suffering the residual effects of it, meaning that my larynx has been damaged and my voice has been severely impacted. So I took some stuff before and hopefully we'll be able to get through this without too many blips, but please bear with me if my voice is not perfect, okay? I try to limit my speaking, but as somebody who speaks for a living, that's a little bit challenging, as you can imagine. Now, let me ask you another question. How many of you are like, what I see about 50% of you are already in the US, so probably your realtors working with international buyers, trying to figure out how to support them. We do have a mastermind, which we will share with you. We do that mastermind next Thursday on the 18th. Once a month, we do a free mastermind, and we have a mastermind program to teach realtors how to work with foreign investors, close more deals, access more international pipeline and referrals, and so on. So that's a separate webinar that we do. And as I say, it's a program that we started. It's a 7-part series, actually 8-part series. And we'll be doing that next Thursday. So feel free to join that. It's for realtors and real estate professionals. So real estate investors as well. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. How to avoid pitfalls when investing in real estate across borders and make millions of dollars, because that's what we all want to do right now. This I have to share because I am a lawyer, and this is a disclaimer just to make sure that you don't consider this legal advice. I do offer a discounted consult to everybody that attends my webinars, which we will share that link in the chat after we've gone through a couple of these slides. It's only, I think, $197, and you get to sit and talk with me about what your goals are and figure out an initial strategy. This is also available to realtors that want to create a strategy to appeal to more foreign nationals. And obviously, as I mentioned, the mastermind is also available. So the picture that I really like to paint about building your global real estate presence is the picture of having access to the sunny shores and the sunny spots in Florida. We just promoted a listing, a resale in Orlando. So Kathleen, if you have some amazing resales, we'll be happy to figure out a way to promote those. But this particular listing was for a 10-bedroom, 10-bath home. Sam, how much would a 10-bedroom, 10-bath home cost in Toronto, Richmond Hill, Thornhill? I don't care, any suburb. Tell me, just give me an idea, a rough idea.
10-bedroom, maybe 3 million.
How many?
3.
3. Okay, I think 3 is actually a bit low for a 10-bedroom. Yeah. Maybe in Richmond Hill. In the city of Toronto, probably looking more at double that, right? 6 million, I would say. Mm-hmm. Okay, this house was listed for $850. Okay. It's a themed, like a Disney and Marvel and Star Wars themed house. I'm sure, Kathleen, you've seen some of them in Orlando. They're incredible. They're in various communities. And I feel that this is a great opportunity to buy a home, have access to the sun, and my partner, Craig, will come on in a bit and talk a little bit about some of the new projects in Orlando as well, but have access to the sun, have a place to vacation, and have great cash flow. Because you're going to rent that property out. There's property management companies that are provided to you. You rent the property out, you do Airbnb. Guess how much that kind of property can net per night in the Orlando area? Just a rough guess.
500?
No. Way more, about 3 times that, if not 4. During high season, you're probably looking at about 2,000 a night because you can have multiple families in there coming from different places. I mean, over the really bad time of COVID, there were families that was all they could do. So they would come in and they would stay there for extended periods of time, and they paid the money. So there's great upside, okay? And the top 10 mistakes people make when investing cross borders. I mean, these are the common mistakes that I see people making. The most important one is failing to hire the right team. Now, that doesn't mean going on Google and figuring out, okay, here's a realtor, here's an accountant, here's a financial advisor, here's a bank, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. We want to have a holistic approach through a team of experts that understand how to invest across borders, understand what your short and long-term goals are, understand what you need to do to accomplish those goals, because it's not, as it says in another one here, one size fits all. You have to have a strategy and you have to have an implementation plan to implement that strategy. Okay. And remember, not everybody has the same approach, and not everybody should. Some people are going to remain in their home country. Some people are going to come to America full time. We have clients, Mark and I, We have one client that isn't, unfortunately, they would love to, but they have custody issues. So they need to stay in Canada. They want to come to the US. They're buying a business. Why? So they have that policy in their pocket. And when they have when they're able to travel more freely, they'll be able to be here in the sunshine more and more frequently, okay? Or perhaps permanently. Waiting for the perfect time or being fearful of investing too soon. Look, right now the market is hot, hot, hot. I've never seen it like this in South Florida. We have a client that we put an offer in on Monday. It was a small single family home. There were 80 offers on the property. Okay, that's Toronto style. It's not South Florida style, but it is now. Okay, I grew up in real estate. My mom was a realtor in Toronto for a very long time. That's what prompted me to get my real estate license. But I knew that there was a bigger picture at stake than working on 80 offers. I'm on the commercial side. Thank you very much, as Giddy and Karen know, because they just brought me a wonderful referral to help them figure out how to get into those amazing commercial properties that I have access to on the commercial side. I'm actually the chair of the International Investment Committee for EXP Commercial. And as I mentioned, I'm not at EXPCon, but I'm not bitter. No, I'm a little bitter, but it's okay. Hiring the least expensive professionals. How many of us do that? Oh, let's find a deal off market. We don't need to work with a realtor, right? Because we know what we're doing. Or figuring out, oh, that lawyer is a little cheaper. I'm going to use him or her, save myself $2,000. Guess what? You know what happens later? It costs you a lot more in the long term, okay? I have a good friend who used somebody else initially to apply for the visa and was denied. Now, he didn't even know at the time. I had moved to Florida. We had lost touch. He didn't even know I was in this space. Found me on LinkedIn. I overturned the denial, got him his visa. He's now in the 4th year, looking for renewal opportunities, creating a strategy. That's really important because at the end of the day, some lawyers are boxed into being immigration lawyers, corporate lawyers, realtors. It's important to have that full holistic approach to the whole transaction, including the cross-border tax advisor, because the number one question I'm asked every single day is, what's going to happen with my taxes? And guess what? The number one thing I don't do is answer that question. I bring in my cross-border tax guys, and it's not just Canadian. I have people that help with international investment from all over the world. Investing in the destination country without regards to the home country. Now, this is true whether you're planning to move or not, because so many people, including my lovely friend that stayed over here last night from Calgary, buy into these huge coaching programs that help you learn how to invest in US real estate, but don't help you learn how to do it so that it doesn't have negative implications or connotations back home. And this is particularly true if you remain a citizen and a resident for tax purposes of your home country, okay? Setting up the wrong legal structure can have huge negative tax and other legal implications. Approaching the investment, as I said, with a one-size-fits-all approach. Seeing a number, oh, that's 20,000, let me invest. No due diligence. I don't need due diligence. It's only 20 grand. Not true, because you can be exposed to a lot more. So don't just do it. Make sure that you do it with some level of caution and care and diligence, because diligence is critical. As I say in the number 7, investing without proper due diligence and analysis of the investment, overlooking the importance of the securing of a visa when you're making the investment, because you don't want to not be able to visit your properties, visit your business, manage, so on. Running before you walk, making the investment haphazardly without a plan. You need a strategy. I don't work with anybody that doesn't have a strategy. Undercapitalizing or overinvesting. You don't want to leave yourself bare. You want to do this in stages and phases and make sure that everything that you do is done with that strategy in mind. Are there any questions so far? I can look in the chat and see. Yeah, I hear you, Sam. I want to get used to it. It doesn't take a lot to get used to this. I'll tell you that much. That's for sure. Okay, any questions? Just don't be shy. Feel free to hold up your hand. Okay, so what's the worst thing that could happen if you don't do things the right way? So I'm going to go from the bottom to the top, because the top is the number one thing, because it happened to me. no credit or access to financing. So guess what? We're going to talk a little bit in this seminar about how to, or masterclass, I should say, how to access financing for foreign nationals investing in US real estate. And Kathleen and all of my realtor friends, this could be great for you if you're having people that are investing in the US from other countries. CIPS is big for this. It's an artificial intelligence based financial financing company called Lendi. And Lendi finances foreign investors currently from Canada, the UK, Australia, and Israel investing in US real estate. Non-owner occupied, up to 4 units. Guess what? The rates are clean. It's a great option for you because it doesn't require you to have a US Social Security number. What it requires is for you to have a US entity, whether it be an LP, limited partnership, an LLC, a corporation, whatever the case may be. You missed out on relationships. You know what? When you're not able to visit your business and manage your business, I see a lot of people doing cross-border business, staying in Canada, staying in the US. The reality is that if you're in the US, you're going to be able to access US markets much more cleanly, and you're going to be able to build those relationships. Now, things have changed with COVID because obviously we're all on Zoom, but at the end of the day, it does make a difference. They like to feel that you're on US soil and have their backs. You lose out on potential deals when you're not able to visit them, when you're not able to make offers at the ready. You need to be able to be ready to go, especially in this market. Unable to visit your investments or properties. I think most of us want, if we're investing 200, 300, 400, $1 million, whatever the case is, to visit our properties, right? We don't mind maybe making the offer, but we'd like to go and visit the property and do our own inspection before we actually close. So that's important. You could lose your business because you're not there properly managing it. And if nobody's managing it for you, like in Mark's case, Mark's company offers a management solution that allows you to be a little more absentee. So that's a great option and why I love it for my clients. And guess what? The number one worst thing that could happen is what happened to me. Although in retrospect, it was the number one best thing that happened to me. But at the time, it didn't seem like the best thing when my then husband was deported on the way back from our honeymoon. And they took him, put him in immigration jail, said he was inadmissible. And I was like, what? But if not for that happening, I wouldn't do what I do. And I wouldn't have my lovely child who is not from him. Thank you very much. So everything happens for a reason. And my son just turned 11. So there you go. That was quite an experience. And that's what prompted me to call my book, Finding Your Silver Lining in the Business Immigration Process. He was actually barred from entry. He now lives in Israel. And so be it. That was in my past, but through every negative experience comes a positive, and you have to persevere and find that silver lining. So which visa is right for you? So there are mainly 4 visas that we work with. There are 7 on this list. The O1, the EB1A, and the EB1C are less relevant, especially when you're first coming in. The O1 is for like an athlete or an actor or somebody that has some kind of a sustained professional license, or like their notoriety. I can't think of words today, sorry. An L1 is an intercompany transfer of a senior executive or manager. So if you have a company in any country, and this is not country specific, this could be China, Brazil, Russia, Canada, UK, anywhere, you have a country in that you have a company in that foreign country, and you set up in a subsidiary affiliate here in the US, you've been a senior executive or manager in the foreign country operations for at least one of the past 3 years. And now you're coming to the US and you're going to start the business here. You can get an L1 visa, which does lead to a green card. Little challenging. You have to be a senior executive or manager here, and you have to maintain some relationship with the foreign company, but it does lead to a green card, okay? Just that renewals are challenging. Why? Because they lead to a green card. E2 and E1 are my favorite visas. We're going to talk about the E2 at length, so we're going to leave that one for a minute. The E1, I call it the forgotten visa in my book. Why? Because nobody pursues it, except for smart people like us, okay? So we found a way to get it's called a treaty trader visa, and it's based on trade with the foreign foreign country. That doesn't mean it has to be with your company in the foreign country. It just means that you're doing a lot of extensive trade in goods and or services with companies from your foreign country into the US and back and forth trade. So a lot of trade show or event companies would qualify for an E1 visa, okay? And I've actually gotten a few of them through COVID. EB1A is for extraordinary ability. You have to qualify on certain categories. Somebody that's really achieved that level of notoriety, they don't have to be a professor or a scientist, but maybe they are, but they have to have certain publications, and there's no job required, but there is this level of extraordinary ability to qualify. EB1C is the path that does lead to a green card for anybody that is a again, it's kind of like an L1 on steroids for somebody that is involved in a company that's still operational in the foreign country and in the US, senior executive or manager, and they're then called a multinational executive. This is a multinational visa. It is a green card path. It's a direct green card actually, and there's no minimum investment required. EB5 is the program where people were investing $500,000 and $1 million. It went up to 900,000 and 1.8 million. It's currently at 500,000 and $1 million. They can invest passively or actively in a business, either an existing business or their own business, so they can invest in a project. It's the only passive option available to anybody, but you have to invest that much money, and you have your investment has to correlate to the creation of at least 10 new permanent full-time jobs, which is often prohibitive because you don't necessarily create 10 jobs in any company, right? So the E2 is my favorite visa. I call it the coveted visa because it is coveted. It's based on investment, a substantial investment in a non-marginal business. You can set up a new company, you can buy an existing company, or you can invest in a franchise or a business opportunity such as the business that Mark and I promote a lot. And you have to have a non-marginal business, so you need to hire staff and have some kind of an economic impact. I like to recommend between 2 and 5 staff members over the 5 years of the business plan that you write to support your visa application. There's no direct path to a green card with either the E2 or the E1, but if you have a foreign entity or a foreign company, you can potentially qualify for this multinational executive under an EB1C. This is a lot of information. This chart is available. I will give you guys a link to download it. And before I do that, does anybody have any questions? No questions. You guys are a quiet bunch, man. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Oops, it's not going in the chat. Sorry. It's not. Don't know why. It's not going in the chat, people. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
What's the business you and Mark do that you mentioned?
Well, Mark, you want to share something about that for a second? Mark, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I just had to unmute myself.
Mhm.
Good morning. I work with Lauren and her clients to set up service-related businesses in the US that because I've had 25 years experience in that field, manage for the client, and the client is the owner, owns 100% of the stock, but we manage it. The E2 visa allows for that kind of setup. The E2 visa doesn't require you to come here and physically make the pizzas in the pizza parlor. You're here to manage, direct the business. And the business industry that interests me, that is easy to set up, very, very low risk, easy to change locations, is in what I call the specialty cleaning business services. Services that take place outside of a home, so you don't have to send a cleaning person in a home and have any security risks and now COVID risks. They're high ticket items, cleaning a roof, anywhere from $300 to $500, cleaning rain gutters, $200 to $500, power washing, again, $200 to $500 to $1,000, and then working with commercial clients where the tickets are $3,000, $10,000 for jobs. So that's a business that can be run anywhere in the country. And so that's what Lauren and I promote and do for her clients who are looking for a business visa, like the E2 visa.
Now, the beauty of Mark's model is that it fits in really well with real estate investing because it's an outdoor service company complementing real estate investing. So a lot of clients, like, let's go through how the 10 steps to immigrate through real estate so you understand what I'm talking about. So in the 10 steps to immigrate through real estate, the most important step, obviously, is the recommended investment and how you invest and what you invest in. If you're investing in real estate, even though it says on here that it's at least 5 doors, you have to satisfy 2 criteria. One is a substantial investment. 2 is a non-marginal business. Additionally, when you're investing in real estate, you have to invest that much more because real estate is a tangible asset, so your money's less at risk. So the government doesn't look favorably on these types of investments. So you have to make the investment that much higher. Now, for somebody coming from Toronto, it may not seem like a big number to have to invest out of pocket $250,000 or $300,000 and buy property of well over $1 million. But that doesn't necessarily mean that every investment of that much is going to qualify. You could buy a 30-unit apartment building, let's say in Arkansas, for $1.2 million, and that might qualify, whereas a 3 or a 10-unit apartment building for the same price in Jacksonville, Florida may not. Why? Because you don't need necessarily a full-time grounds person or a full-time logistics person or those kind of positions to meet to satisfy the non-marginality aspect of the investment itself, right? So clients always say to me, well, I want to buy this. Does this work? Will this work in a vacuum? And in a vacuum, it's impossible to say because we have to look at the numbers. We have to look at the investment amount and we have to look at the returns. And this is particularly true because a lot of business brokers put on their listings eligible for visa because they think that it's just about a number, and it's not. Some people could buy $1 million business and not qualify for a visa because it's a marginal business. But you could maybe invest $100,000 into a business and qualify because it's not a marginal business. It's all about looking at each business individually and figuring out how that business works and what the type of investment would make sense for that business in that industry. Because manufacturing or real estate, you're going to have to invest a lot more for it to be a viable, non-marginal business. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Shema or Shamali, can you guys let me know if there's any questions in the chat because I'm not monitoring it right now, okay? Thank you. So in this model, the most important person that comes into this process, now these 10 steps are not necessarily followed in this particular order, except for number 10 and number 9. And number 10 and number 9 are only applicable if you're applying for a visa. Numbers 1 through 8 are applicable no matter what. So I have a new client that just signed a contract today. They're going to do a visa eventually. I was hoping they were going to be on this call today. They signed this contract, but they right now are just ready to get their structure set up so they can start doing US investing and building that nest egg toward their ultimate goal of getting the visa, right? But the whole point is that you can't start a month before you want to apply. You have to start, work, develop, plan, strategize, and then implement. When you start implementing, then you can start working on the visa process, but it takes a while. It's not something that's kind of like, okay, I'm ready to go. 2 weeks later, you're done. It doesn't work like that. You have to start your plan, create your structure, get your entities in place, and start making your investment, even if it's an investment in real estate, okay? Or a business, whatever the case is, that you're supposed to be ideally in operations at the time of application. It's going to help your application because it shows that your money is invested and at risk. Okay. So I always bring in my cross-border tax guy. Now, ironically, he literally just this moment texted me. Is that not crazy? As I was about to say number 3, he texted me because we're looking at a unit to purchase an office down here. We just closed on his new property 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago down here in Florida. and he's from Ottawa originally. So these are exciting times and a lot of stuff is happening. It's really important as you're building this nest egg and creating this strategy to invest across borders that you have estate planning and you look after your assets, because you don't want to put your assets at risk in either country. We want to make sure that your structure is set up to both support you if you stay in Canada or wherever you are, and when you come to the US. And that's why number 5 is important. Number 6, professional consulting. We bring in our team of professionals. We don't just haphazardly recommend people, but we have a team of professionals that helps you with every single element of the process, from banking to real estate, to investments, to financing, to you name it. We have a partner that does it, to legal lawyers in every state all over the nation to help you with implementing your strategy and making sure things are done right. Financing, of course, is super important. I'll share that link with everybody to Lendi as we continue through this. We can't do much without money, right? Then your business plan is about making sure that you have a structured, professionally drafted business plan that's oriented to achieving your goals and has timelines and definite goals and so on. And this business plan is going to be focused on how to achieve your goals through investing in real estate or investing in a business to get your visa if that's your goal. But I don't care if you want a visa or not, you still need a plan, right? We all need a business plan to run our business, to grow our business, to invest in real estate, especially across borders, okay? And then numbers 9 and 10 are relevant specifically to the visa process and how to invest in how to get your visa, having the legal petition done and drafted professionally, making sure that everything is, all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed by the time that you actually submit the application to the consulate or to USCIS if you're doing consular processing. Number 10, well, number 10 is probably as important as all the others combined, because guess what? Once you get your visa,
I know she is. I'd like to learn from her, but
okay. So once you get your visa, that's when the work really starts, because you need to look at all of these elements and figuring out, okay, so now I have my visa. Now, how do I run my business? How do I grow my business? How do I keep my visa? This is it's not something that's permanent until it's permanent. Until you're a citizen, really, it's not permanent. So you have to have a strategy that will allow you to achieve those goals and ultimately achieve visa success and keep that visa in place. So we offer ongoing coaching and structure and strategy. This is generally the approach that we recommend to, now it's general, okay? Again, I don't do this without my cross-border tax guy. So we recommend this general approach to setting up your entities. Usually it's a foreign holding company or mom and pop, or you and your wife or spouse or husband, whatever, setting up, you have a foreign company or personally own this US holding company. And the US holding company becomes the entity that is kind of your parent, so to speak, in the US, usually a limited partnership, but not always a limited partnership, okay? Again, it depends on if you're staying in your home country for a period of time, when you're becoming US taxpayer, and so on. So just one moment. And so when you do this, we want to make sure that you're set up so that you don't have double taxation, which is why we bring in the cross-border tax guy. Not me. I'm not the cross-border tax guy. I'm never going to be. You know what I do with taxes? I pay them. That's about it. Okay? I know enough to get myself in trouble and know when to bring in the experts. We then set up US entities to own the individual properties or own the business, depending on how the structure is set up. And those individual entities get their own tax IDs and own each of the units or each of the real estate properties, or own each of the businesses, or whatever the case is, however you're structuring that. Types of real estate investments qualifying for immigration visas are these. The Burr method can work. Buying and flipping isn't going to work unless you're doing 40 at a time, okay? So, because why? That's passive. We need active. We need active involvement in running a business, directing and managing a business, managing multiple rental properties, managing commercial properties. Airbnbs can work. Why? Because you're logistically managing it. You need somebody to manage your logistics. You need somebody to call and place ads and do all of the ongoing work, right? Mobile homes, self-storage, all of this can work. So Karen and Giddy up there in Orlando, we have a lot of opportunities that are very appealing for foreign nationals to invest in that area, because they know it. And guess why? Disney is there. So is it Universal, but I'm not a Universal fan. Oops, did I just say that out loud? Okay, so I'm doing this a little bit out of order because I wanted to kind of give you guys an opportunity to see what this is all about. Just give me a moment here. I'm trying to get to a specific slide, which of course I'm not getting to. Okay, so there's also an option of getting an EB-5, which is a green card path, a direct green card path, if you have that amount of money to invest and you're creating 10 new jobs. You can invest in an E2, get your E2 non-immigrant visa, increase your investment amount and qualify for EB-5 with the same business, which is a great thing. And there are some amazing ways to do this as well. So Craig, are you able to speak for a moment now or no? I'm not sure if he's still talking. Craig, hello. So I brought Craig on the call, but I'm not sure if he's still talking because he was talking. Are you able to? He's not listening to me because I wanted to talk about, okay. Not sure where he is, but we will figure that out. How does it work in a scenario where two business partners exist in Canada for a company offering a service, one wishes to expand? Yeah, that's not really a problem, Maria, because you're setting up the US business. So if you want, the Canadian business can have similar ownership of the US business, and the one that wants to be transferred could be the transferee, manage the business in the US, or potentially do trade back and forth with Canada. So there's a lot of ways to make that work. It's very common actually for one partner to stay in the home country and the other to come to the US. So that is how that all works. Okay, so I wanted to bring Craig on to share a couple of the amazing things that are going on in the Orlando area, because some people are very interested in the actual real estate component of this. So I'm going to turn the screen over to him. Are you ready, Craig?
Sure.
Okay, so here.
Sorry, I've been bombarded with calls here.
Okay, so I gave you sharing capacity. So do you want to talk a little bit about them, please?
Sure. Give me a moment or two and I'll be glad to do that. So there are a few projects. Let me just increase my volume here, Lauren, for 1 second so I can hear you well. So there are a few projects that I wanted to go over. We'll go over 2 or 3 real briefly. How much time do I have, Lauren?
Like maybe 7 minutes, but I see your calendar, not yours.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so let me share my other screen. Is it? Okay, can you see? Let's see. So let's go take a look for a moment. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for you. So we're going to look at a project in Orlando by Hilton.
Now, the beauty of these projects, especially for those of you that are realtors in other locations like Canada, for example, is that there's opportunities to collaborate and bring these to your clients together, and everybody wins. So
right,
keep that in
mind. That's exactly right. So we have some nice size commissions on these transactions for those agents that are in Canada or elsewhere in the US that want to bring us potential investors. This would be a great project for us to cooperate on. So this particular project is by Hilton Hotels. It's Embassy Suites by Hilton. All of us have probably stayed at Embassy Suites at one time or another. And this particular resort, you can see the screen now, Lauren, yes? Mm-hmm. This particular resort is located adjacent to Margaritaville Resort, which is a stunning property. They have cottages, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 bedroom plus cottages that are priced in the $600 to $1.5 million range, directly next door to the Embassy Suites location that just literally broke ground. I was in Orlando last week and they happened to break ground. They've sold out at least one of their buildings. They just had their first price increase. They started in the mid 230s. They just raised to $244,000 for studio apartments. And there are studios, one bedrooms and 2-bedroom units. And the resort is adjacent to Margaritaville. Across the street is a complex that's building 300 condominiums and another huge mixed use space that's going to have office space and more restaurants and more shops directly across the way. It's located about 7-8 minutes from Disney. It's one exit away from the Disney parks. So it's really conveniently located. There are 15 restaurants, tons of shops, and much more a short stroll away in the local area in Sunset Walk. I'm going to just pull up Sunset Walk so you guys can see what the shops look like. And 7 minutes, Lauren, is not enough for me to show more than one project. So we'll just show this one. And what I can tell you guys are, where they have 3 or 4 other amazing properties that are within 10 minutes of Disney. Some of them offer leasebacks, 10% leasebacks. This particular project does not. It's managed by Hilton Hotels, but some of the other projects have leasebacks for 1 year to 2 years, where you're yielding about an 8% return on investment, and the appreciation opportunity being so closely located next to Disney World is insane. I don't know why that's taking so long to load, but let me show you the floor plans real briefly on the property in the interim while that's hopefully loading. So this is a little bit about the resort, so you can see some renditions on the property. So that's going to be the resort pool. And then you're going to have cabanas over here and a clubhouse. And like I said, you're right next to Sunset Walk. Let's see if this is still spinning. I don't know why it is. That really stinks. Try one more time. So Sunset Walk, I'll look at some of the photos if it doesn't pull up. Sunset Walk has 15 restaurants, some amazing restaurants there, tons of shops. They have a promenade where they have like live music every single week. Yeah, it looks like the site's down. I apologize. I can't really control that. So let me see if there are any photos that I could just pull up images so you guys can see it. Hang on. Yeah, so this is like an aerial photo, just so you guys get an idea of what it looks like. I apologize that the video doesn't come up because they have some amazing aerial video, but you know, they have all kinds of events that are going on at the location. Tons of beautiful restaurants. They have concerts there every single weekend. There are car shows that are ongoing at the location. So there's a lot of activity literally within walking distance of the condo hotel. They can just stroll downstairs. There's also a water park called, I think it's called H2O Water Park within walking distance. And you can join an annual pass there for like something like 100 and change for the year. So the kids are just going to be entertained. There's nonstop entertainment nearby and right near the Disney location. So great vacation location for you guys, and you know, probably see around a 5 to 6% return on investment. Now, the other projects, and I'm not really going to have too much time to get into it, but I'll go on that other site for a moment just so you guys can see one of them, and we can always schedule a one-on-one call or another group call if you guys want. So the Grove Residences, the Grove Orlando Resort is a really stunning resort, and they start in the low 200s as well. And they have a new building called the Terraces of the Grove, and they have a built-in water park in this particular location, huge water park within the complex that the kids can really enjoy. These are what the buildings look like. This is an aerial photo of the water park. So there's a kiddie pool, large pool for the adults. There's a surfing simulator on site, all kinds of different water slides that are available, lazy river, I think 3 restaurants, a grab and go location where you can hang out. And it's literally also a half exit away on 192 right outside of Disney World. So, and this particular project offers a lease back. I believe it's 18 months that they're offering right now. It's a 10% lease back. You have to take out the HOA fees, but after the HOA fees, about an 8% return. So tons and tons of appreciation. I can say next to that Hilton resort, my friend is the leading listing agent at Margaritaville. They were selling in the 3s to like the 8s when they broke ground a few years ago. Now she's selling units there for like $1.1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3 million all day long. So the appreciation opportunity here is tremendous. And, you know, that's really about it on these couple of projects. If you guys want to learn more about them, we can get you pricing sheets. Deposit amounts for foreign nationals, depending on the project, are somewhere around 30 to 35%. There are no income requirements on most of these loans. So no FICO requirements, no income requirements. For the US based investors, it's 25%. And you know, you have to have that, you're gonna have to show your income and FICO score, but for the foreign national loans are 30 to 35% down.
Thank you. Okay, so the one thing to remember with these opportunities is that these are not kind of set up to qualify for visas. These are more for real estate investment opportunities. You need to have multiple units, managing them directly in order to qualify. So if you're working with the Hilton and they're doing a lease back, that's not going to qualify you because that's passive. So it's all about creating that strategy that works for you. It can help you with your income. It can help you to accomplish your goals here, but it's not necessarily going to help you with the visa process. Okay,
Lauren,
it's not.
Can you still see the aerial now running?
Yeah.
All right, so they can see what it looks like at Sunset Walk next door. Sorry about that.
So it's not really about how many units you need, Maria. It's about each unit and what the return is and what you're doing with the unit. So as I mentioned earlier, sometimes it could be 10 units, sometimes it could be 50 units. It depends if you're flipping, if you're managing. If you create a property management company, and I do have a property management franchise, and then you're focusing on these and you get in with the communities, because some of the communities have captive property management companies. So if you get in with the community and you're able to develop that property management program or manage properties in different locations that don't have restrictions on who the property managers are, that could allow you to potentially grab a visa. I like to use real estate investments as part of your whole strategy, not as the core of your visa process, because you want to be sure that your visa is intact and you can invest in real estate without the visa being dependent on the real estate. But there are ways to create, like, you know, if you have a substantial real estate portfolio in another country and you're transferring it to the US, there are ways to use real estate, as I mentioned, if we can satisfy the investment threshold as well as the marginality and overcome that marginality. So does anybody else have any questions before I sign off for today? No questions, nobody? I'm gonna stop sharing screen, but it's not letting me. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to just take you guys to the second last slide. I gave you a bunch of links in the chat to download some freebies, as well as to join my podcast. I'm sorry, yes, to subscribe to my podcast. I'm going to put one more link in the chat to set up a consult, which I would be more than happy to do with each and every one of you. If I can find my, my trusty, nothing is working right now. Okay, where is it? Okay, we're gonna get there, I promise. Okay, let's go here. Nope, nothing is happening. My system is not working properly right now, of course. Just a moment, maybe I can do it. Okay, I think I got it. So I wanted to give you guys access to my calendar. It's $197, as I said. Usually $247, but here is the link to access my calendar and set up a consult to discuss your needs or your client's needs directly. so that we can figure out how to make it all work and make the most of the opportunities for you and your clients. And of course, nothing is working today. I'm not really sure why. Look at that. It's going right into oh my goodness me. Very strange stuff. Okay, guys, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I apologize. I'm going to keep trying until I get it in here. I'm going to stop the recording now.